Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with the 5 greatest Respighi recordings. Oh, yeah. Everybody loves Respighi. If there's one thing I've learned from doing this whole channel over the past 6 years, is that Respighi is just hugely popular, and it's sort of amazing that he doesn't get played as much, aside from like the Pines of Rome and a couple of the little chambery things. It's really amazing, because his music is just beautiful. It's so gorgeous. It's gloriously orchestrated. It's tuneful. It's wonderful. And, he survived the whole avant-garde craziness, and now here he is, just in his luscious, glorious orchestral and instrumental self. Beautiful, beautiful music. And people love it. And you can just love it shamelessly and without, at least now, without being embarrassed. It used to be, if you said, "Oh, I really love Respighi, let's do Respighi," people would look at you like you're crazy, because he didn't write like symphonies, and he didn't write in sonata form that often. And, and his music is just flashy, and sometimes people consider it a little bit, in bad taste. Well, so what? It's wonderful. And here are the 5 greatest Respighi recordings. You ready? Here we go. Ancient Airs and Dances. Antal Dorati on Mercury Living Presence. Oh, this is so famous, this recording. This is like, Mercury recorded a lot of Respighi. They were in on it before the rest of us were. Dorati was willing to do all of this wonderful repertoire. And his Respighi recordings are pretty terrific. And I especially of the smaller pieces, the chamber music pieces. They're just beautiful. The Brazilian impressions, he did all that stuff. It was great. And this is absolutely a wonderful, iconic disc. It's a landmark in the Respighi discography, because it wasn't the usual stuff, and it was so, so beautiful. And Wilma Gozart Fine told me Mercury sold a ton of them. It did really, really well. Well, there you go. Next, Feste Romane, just Feste Romane. I detach the tone poems. You can clump them all together if you have a disc with all of them that you like, but I detach Feste Romane. Toscanini on RCA. You got to have some Toscanini Respighi, and the tone poems were really well recorded. The Respighi recordings were the ones where Chuck Pfeiffer, who was like the engineer, one of those guys, or Robert Layton, whatever, they said to Toscanini, it's too loud, it's going to damage our machines. And Toscanini said, "Screw your machines, I don't care, destroy them." And he just went crazy on it. And his Feste Romane really shows how the piece should go. This is the tone poem that most people sort of look down on, because it's just kind of noisy and very, very garish. And, oh, I love every garish minute of it. I mean, who cares? It's a little bit, it's exciting. One Respighi scholar described it as a work of, sort of fascist music, because it's like those huge, blocky, ugly, gigantesque fascist buildings, like the Milan train station or the main hospital. They're just these ugly, monolithic, square things that were supposed to be monuments to the spirit of fascist whatever. Maybe Respighi had some of those tendencies. Most composers were supporters of Mussolini in Respighi's day. He co-opted the artistic community quite successfully by supporting what they were doing, as long as they supported what he was doing. So yes, that's an element, but we're past that. I really hope. I really do. In terms of evaluating the music on purely aesthetic criteria, it's an exciting showpiece, and it doesn't have a harp. That's interesting. Respighi's supposed to be a harp guy. It's all that sexy stuff. No, this is quite a hard-edged, wonderful work. And Toscanini's performance is the one, and he was no fascist. So there you go. Next, the church windows. Eugene Ormandy in Philadelphia on Sony. How many of us had the Respighi album? That 2-disc set that had other Respighi besides the usual things. It had the birds, and it had the church windows. Oh, it was gorgeous. Church Windows really deserves to be played as much as the Roman tone poems. It's one of the splashiest and most exciting pieces he ever wrote. It's just phenomenal. And Ormandy's recording, yeah, I mean, put it on the map. There wasn't anything remotely comparable. It was thrilling. And how many of us played, was it St. Michael Archangel, or whatever that second movement is, that ends with the big crash on the tam-tam? Whoa, yeah, it was wonderful. So yeah, that one's held up pretty well. And then we've got The Birds, the Botticelli Pictures, with Neville Marriner on Warner. Neville Marriner was a great devotee of Respighi. He really was, in his Warner recordings particularly, but he did them for both Philips and EMI at the time. He also did the big tone poems, possibly the worst recording of those ever in the history of humanity. It's just vile, it's so awful. But his chamber works, the works for chamber orchestra, are just lovely. Absolutely lovely. And I adore the Botticelli Pictures. The 3 Botticelli Pictures are just so beautiful. Really, Spring and the Birth of Venus, the Adoration of the Magi, with the tune Veni Emmanuel in the middle of it. Oh, it's just gorgeous. So there's that. And then last but not least, Pines and Fountains, Reiner in Chicago. Is this the greatest Respighi record ever made? Probably. At least of those 2 works. It's beyond stunning. It's the kind of thing that Reiner in Chicago did better than anybody in the day, and they were recorded better too. And it's a clinic in how to record a huge piece of music like this. I mean, it has such transparency and such impact, and the brass playing is just insane, and you could hear everything down through the texture. It's extraordinary. Absolutely extraordinary. So those are the 5 greatest Respighi recordings, and I can't wait to see what you folks come up with. Keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.